Hey everybody, this is Tom from VermiBag. This is my weekly update on the VermiBag trash bag. If you remember last week we added a little bit more cardboard and gave it a pretty decent feeding. I mean, not real heavy, but pretty good. So let's open it up and see how they're doing. Zoom in a little bit. Moisture, of course, is really good with all this wet cardboard in here. The worms are, yeah, there they are. I was going to say there aren't too many right here at the very top. They're down here just a little bit into some of this lower material. Now, these Africans are really starting to get their size back to them. Go over here just a little bit further. Again, this pile of newspaper and stuff just works really good to just trap the moisture inside this bag. And as soon as you get down a little ways, the cardboard's really starting to break down. This top layer, of course, it doesn't break down. It doesn't look like it's breaking down too much. But by the time you add more bedding on top of it and more cardboard, over a period of, a couple months, we found that this cardboard will actually just completely disappear. And what I do normally do is, you see they're mixed everywhere in here. But I normally try and rip this cardboard up a little bit every time I come in and agitate the system or take a look and see how the worms are doing. When I see pieces like this, I just rip them up. And by the time you do that, 10 or 15 times when you're doing feedings over a period, all these pieces will end up being pretty small by then. So, yeah, I suppose you could just leave them solid. They're just going to take a little bit longer to decompose. When you do your harvest, if there's some of them left, you're just going to have to throw them back into the bag and let them go through another cycle, which is no big deal. Try over on this other side and see. Yeah, the worms are everywhere in here. I mean, they're a little bit of warmth down in there too. I think some of the stuff that was decomposing is producing a little bit of heat, but it doesn't really seem to be bothering these Africans. I mean, they like the heat as long as it isn't hot. Anywhere you pull this cardboard apart, a newspaper, I mean, look at all the castings that are here. Even between there's a couple more. So, again, I'll pull these apart a little bit, rip them up a little bit, agitate the system. Go this back one more in this far corner. Yeah. Look how dark this material is right here. Looks real good. And everywhere again, mixed amongst these big chunks of cardboard and newspaper. I mean, there's worms everywhere. The Africans really do like carbon. I mean, much more so than red wigglers and Euros. I mean, not that they don't like it, but I think it's just that the African night crawlers absolutely love carbon base. And so throwing these big chunks in here like this seems to really work well for the Africans. So, like I always do, I have a lot of cardboard in here this time, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and place a little bit of food on top of this area here. I'll zoom out. Go ahead and place some food over this area here. And then just a little bit of bedding in just to cover up the cardboard. We'll start working on this cardboard a little bit. And then maybe next week I'll add another layer of cardboard. I'll get a bunch of cardboard boxes and pizza boxes that I have. Today's pizza night, so I'll have 3 more boxes tonight. I'll rip those all up, soak them in a little bit of water, and throw them in here with, again, what I've been doing on this cardboard chunks is to mix it with a little bit of coconut coir when I soak it in the water. And that way, again, it doesn't stick together very much because you have all these little particles of that coconut coir or peat moss, whatever you have. But if you don't do that, this stuff will really, really mat up tight, and you'll create a little anaerobic pocket right there. But by mixing and soaking the cardboard in water mixed with peat moss or coconut coir, I throw a little bit of soil into it normally too, and coffee grounds. That seems to work really well at breaking the stuff apart and keeping it from sticking. And then again, you know, I can let it sit there for a week and use it up over a period of a week. So let me get a feeding for this, and we'll throw feeding in here and a little bit of bedding. Okay, I've got a fair amount of food here to give them. See in here we got some bread and some squash pieces, broccoli. Unfortunately, my wife threw some pistachio nuts in here, shells, in our compost bin upstairs, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw them in. I'll have to sift them out once I go through the castings and stuff. Some of them might start to break down, but I mean, these will take forever to break down. So, tomatoes, good mixture of stuff. So, go ahead and dump this whole thing in there. I'm just going to mix it kind of everywhere around here. And you know, be sure on the VermiBags too to put food along the sides. Because if a VermiBag is going to dry out, it actually is going to dry out around the sides more often than not. So don't just put your feedings in the center of the bag. Go ahead and put some right on the side, and that way that moisture will go down the sides of the bag and keep the sides of the bag moist as well. So that's spread out. Let me go ahead and grab some bedding and put a little bedding on top of it. Okay, I got 2 little tubs full of bedding. And all I want to do is just kind of cover the top of it. It doesn't have to be perfect all the way. I basically just want the worms to start working on this upper layer of cardboard a little bit. And by covering it, it won't dry out at all, and they'll get into it. And then next week we'll do kind of another layer, just like we did before, and put some more cardboard, just pure cardboard mix on top, and then a little additional food, depending on how they go through this. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and throw on the gunny sack, and I'm actually going to water this gunny sack down a little bit. It's a little bit moist already, but I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit more just to keep the top of this damp, keep those worms up at the top of the surface and working on that cardboard. And underneath it's really moist, and probably even a little too moist, and I'm not too concerned about having fluffy castings on here. When I get out the bottom, if I'm a little bit wetter than normal, I'll just put them directly into the garden. What I want to do is be able to process through all that cardboard and boxes and newspapers and miscellaneous boxes I get out of the kitchen. So that's it. We'll take a look at this next week and see how it goes. That's all for now. This is Tom from VermiBag. Till next week, ciao.